That doesn't stop him from wanting more for you. Maybe you can understand it like this. Sometimes you have children who you will ask if they want certain things, and they'll say, no, Mom, I'm good, I'm good. You know why most of them say that? It's because they can't compete with how their friends are going to treat them after they walk into another atmosphere with something greater because their parents have blessed them. Was that confusing? In other words, you bless your children, but they catch trouble for it sometime. God pours into you, and you catch trouble for it. God is working through us. God wants to use you in a greater way. But in order to make you, he's going to first break you. Yeah. Like eggs. Once you crack an egg and start to scramble it, things will never be the same again. And sometimes we've gotten so used to being the egg that everyone knows. And God says, that's great. But what I have for you has to come forth. And for it to come forth, I must break you. And so that's what a lot of us experience and are experiencing right now. We're going through some suffering and we don't quite understand it. And the suffering is going to purify you. What does the suffering do? It clarifies your motives. Why are you doing what you do? Suffering will let you see if you really just want to do it or if you're having to do it to get to something else. You can copy what somebody else is doing for so long until after you start having a struggle with it, you realize it's not worth it. You know why? Because your suffering got your motives right. Suffering is going to rectify your behavior. It's going to nullify all of your excuses. Your suffering is preparation. Jesus said, let not your heart be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. It's not what happens to you, but what happens in you that really matters. Everybody in this room can talk about stuff that we've been through. But what did it do for you? The truth is that there's nothing that God is going to allow you to go through that's not going to do something for you that you don't understand. Suffering is passing, and it's preparing us. It's passing and it's preparatory. It's getting us ready for something else. It doesn't look like it, but it's getting us ready for something else. Now, what do we also know about suffering? Because we were talking about this on last week, and we continue to talk about it. We don't want to bring up suffering because suffering is also painful. We learned that suffering is passing. It has to go through. Number two, if you're looking at your notes, it's preparing you for something. The third thing is that it is painful. I realize that this may seem pretty obvious, but I want to go into it a little further. The first thing that pain tells you is that you're alive. And as long as you're alive, there's always a possibility that things can change. I'll take time because I see you tweeting somebody that if you're tweeting today, you can follow me at Rickie G. Rush and tweet that to somebody that as long as you're alive, there's a possibility that things can change. And that's our hope, church. See, you're hurting, but you're still here. Suffering didn't take you out. Didn't it feel like it was going to? If nobody else is talking to you on your road, talk to yourself and say, I'm still here. No, say, it didn't take me out. Now say this to yourself. Say, self, it didn't kill me. It's rough, but somehow you're still holding on. I'm not going to ask you how. I know it's rough, but you're still holding on. So you must be stronger than you thought you were. You can take more than you thought you could take. You're still alive. Isn't that a blessing? If I'm talking to a blessing, let me see what a blessing's hand looked like. Isn't that a blessing? You took more than you thought you could take. And somebody is shocked that you're here right now. Somebody lost some money fooling with you. They bet you would be gone. I said, somebody lost some money on your blessing. They owe you. They owe you. They better pay you back. They got some money. Sometimes folk can't stand you because they lost a bet. Now, I don't want to sound selfish. Other people came too, but didn't come through. Oh, yeah, honey, they stood up. But when they got tough, they backed down. You not only came too, I'm talking to some people this morning who came through. The difference is you are still here. The enemy took his best shot, hit you, smacked you. Tell somebody it hurt. No, don't be ashamed to open your mouth. Maybe he hit you in the mouth. Tell them it hurt, but I survived. You're hurting right now. Sitting in church this morning. Everything you're saying after me feels not so good. You're hurting right now, but you're still here. You're bruised, but you're blessed. You're aching, but you're alive. Let me say a word here before you try to think I'm just talking. The 22nd verse that says, all around us we observe a pregnant condition. The difficult times of pain throughout the world are simply birth pains. But it's not only around us, it's within us. The Spirit of God is arousing us within. We're also feeling the birth pains, and these sterile and barren bodies of ours are yearning for full deliverance. That's why we keep coming back, because something is in us and it's got to come out. Somebody said, child, don't you get tired of going to church? I don't get tired of delivering. That's why waiting, the 24th verse said, does not diminish us any more than waiting diminishes a pregnant mother. She's having pains. That thing's kicking. She's going through labor, but she doesn't speed up the process because she wants the baby to be developed. It's not always about her wanting to hurry up and get rid of the baby so she can go skating again. What comes out of you has to be developed. Sometimes it looks as if God has you on lockdown. Why is everybody else going out and doing stuff and traveling and going and having fun, and I'm still here? I'm doing nothing. It's not that you're doing nothing. It's something doing something inside of you. Would you look at somebody and say, I'm not like everybody else? Do you know how difficult it is when people try to define you? There's hope in this pain. It's going somewhere. Expect something. Expect something. Your suffering is painful, but it is a process. I don't want to talk to you as if you're not suffering. I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm not trying to pretend that it's not so. You just came through a 90-day challenge. The devil turned up the heat, but God enlarged your territory. When the devil turned up the heat, God enlarged your territory. There's a product at the conclusion of your pain. I said there's a product at the conclusion of your pain. That's his promise. He's working in you to produce something. You're being changed right now. You're being transformed right now. It does not yet appear what you're going to be, but you have to know that your labor is not in vain. You are being transformed. You're being changed. You're being changed. You're being changed. You're being changed. Well, I don't know, Pastor. I'm getting more and more angry. Anger is coming out so it can come forth and get out of you. You're being changed. You used to be angry inside. That's why your pressure was high. That's why your medical stuff was going crazy. But anger is finding itself out of you. You're being changed. You're having to learn a whole nother definition of nice now. One day, your imperfection is going to give way to perfection. Your old body will be traded in for a new one. You'll trade your pain for power. You're going to trade your aches for assurance, and you're going to change and exchange your mess for a miracle. You're going to change your burden for a blessing, and you're going to give up your cross for a crown. No, there will be no suffering. There will be no more heartache and hurt feelings. That's our hope, because God is able. That's something we can look forward to when we're in pain, knowing that God is able, knowing what God has promised for his children. That's a source of our hope. God provides us and provides for us in our suffering. When we look at the 26th verse of this same 8th chapter in the Message Bible, it says, meanwhile, the moment we get tired in waiting, God's Spirit is right alongside, helping us along. Have you ever tried to lay down and God, no, I'm going to use the word something got you up? Have you ever been asleep in the house and you knew you were knocked out, but you got up just in time before the skillet caught fire, or the water ran over, or the baby fell down? Y'all don't know what I'm saying. Have you ever dozed off at the wheel and you jumped right up before you hit a bridge? Have you ever been swerving to the right and couldn't figure out? Did you ever go to the doctor and they said if you had waited 5 more minutes you would have been? Y'all don't understand. Something inside of you is saying, get up, get up, get up. We got to do something. We got to. God will provide. You ever needed something but didn't tell anybody, and somebody gave you something without you asking? You made up in your mind, I'm not asking nobody else. And God provided. He took your pride and told pride, shut up. We need some rent money. We need some groceries. I'm talking to somebody. I hope you shout behind that camera. I hope you waving your hand behind that camera. If you by that laptop, if you sit in the hospital room, wherever you are, I hope you're throwing up a hand. I hope you make some noise in that room. I hope you make some noise in that house. I hope somebody who's not at church will know that you are somewhere listening to God, speaking to your spirit this morning, saying, I'm still God. I will provide.